Quidditch in space.
Orlando.
George.
Eduardo.
Matthew.
Sebastian.
Hello and welcome to R.L. Turner High. Here we have several sports, but the most popular among the students is Quidditch. Our Quidditch game is on the moon, so instead of running on the ground with brooms, we can actually fly. When playing the game, you have to consider the physics in the game. In the sport, the most important part of physics in the game is Newton's 3 laws of motion. The first law says that an object at rest stays at rest. An object in motion stays in motion unless acted on by an unbalanced force. The way our game uses the first law is when they throw a ball into the hoop, the ball will travel in a straight path until a player on the opposite team stops it. They will be acting as the opposite force.
The second law of motion is mass times acceleration. This is related to our game because in our game, the mass of the rider and how fast he's going on the broom determines their force. The third law says that for every reaction, there is an equal and opposite reaction. When the ball is thrown, the opponent swatting the ball away from the ball, an opposite reaction, and it bounces off. As you see, our game is mostly made up of physics. This is a new way to play and will definitely turn some heads.
We can just edit whatever we don't need out.
This is our free body diagram. That's the jetpack thruster in the back, and then we have the upward thruster so we can get off the ground.
Game proposal. Quidditch. What is Quidditch? Well, its objective is to either throw as many balls through the opponent's hoops in the allotted time or catching a snitch, which ends the game instantly. The version on Earth is pretty lame. Instead of flying, you're running around holding a broom. Why not fly on the broom like you're supposed to? Well, that's what we're doing. Since the gravity on the moon isn't strong as on Earth, we have the room to experiment. Attaching a jetpack to the back and bottom of the broom gives us the leverage we need. It's gonna be a whole new kind of fun. Yay.
How our game is unique. What sets our game different from the rest is our ability to fly. All the other versions consist of running on the ground, but not ours. We actually let you fly. Like the game is meant to be played. It will be a whole new experience. We are changing the game.
Our game relates to Newton's first law of motion in two ways. One way it relates to the first law is when you're riding on the jetpack, you will continue to go forward until you turn. The second way it relates is when you throw the ball into the hoop. The ball will travel in a straight path until either a player on the opposite team stops it, since there is no air. Resistance on the moon, it won't be an affecting factor.
Our game relates to Newton's second law of motion in certain ways. The second law of motion is mass times acceleration. This is related to our game because in our game, the mass of the rider or player and how fast he's going in a certain direction is the force that will be put behind the ball. The force will also be manipulated by the rider's throw.
Compared to Newton's third law. In our game, the third law implies the whole game because you have to be able to make contact with the ball. And the third law says that for every reaction, there is an equal reaction. So in our game, if someone hits the ball with their hand, the other person hitting it or stopping it will have the same force and speed. When the ball is hit, it will go to the opposite direction.
Alright, that's our presentation. Thank you for listening in. This is Matthew, Sebastian,
I got dressed.
Bardo, George. Hey George. Alright, thank you.